Hey y'all, it's Betsy with Happily Ever After Etc. and welcome back to another Cricut video. So today we are going to be showing you, I am going to be showing you how to put iron-on wood. This is the very last video in our How to Apply Iron-On to 5 different materials series. It's been really fun putting this together for y'all. I have loved how much y'all have loved it, so thank you for that. If you want to see another series, maybe how to put vinyl on different things, I don't know, leave a comment down below with what you need help with your Cricut, and I will make sure to work on that next. But for today, we're going back to the good old-fashioned iron-on wood, and I say old-fashioned because this was the first iron-on trick that I figured out years ago, that you could put iron-on multiple things, not just fabric, not just t-shirts, not just a pillowcase, and I have been making signs with iron-on ever since. I know you can put vinyl on signs, but I just find that iron-on bonds better. It stays longer, it gets the great wood grain texture of the wood as it presses together, and it just, to me, seems a lot sturdier. So I've been doing this for years. I will leave a few projects down below. I made an entire sign with the entire verse of love is patient, love is kind from 1 Corinthians with some really pretty rolled felt flowers I made with my Cricut, and I literally leave that sign up year-round out in my living room. I love it so much. So we're going to get started by hitting up the Cricut Access Library and grabbing the cut file for this baby, and we're going to get started. This is a pretty quick and easy project. Anyone can make it, even a beginner, so I hope that you try it, and if you do, let me know. I love to see y'all's projects. Let's get started. Okay, so now that we've opened Cricut Design Space, we are going to find a project. I've already bookmarked a bunch of the ones I like, and for this little wooden sign, I am thinking this design would be adorable for my front door. So I'm going to go ahead and customize it. It is set for an apron. We'll need to resize it for our wooden sign. So part of why I liked this one is because it's already a circle and my sign is a circle. So I think it will fit perfectly. And I think it's wonderful for summer and my garden. So I'm going to go ahead and resize this to 8.5, which is what I have determined will fit on my little sign the best. Dropped my ruler. So 8.5, perfect. Let's go ahead and click Make It. We're using a maker today, so if you're using something else, you'll want to change that, well, I'll show you. You'll want to change your machine right up here. For an 8.5, you'll want to use a Maker 3, an Explorer, Air 2 or 3, basically anything but a Joy, which would not be wide enough to cut an 8.5 size piece without breaking up each of these pieces into individual designs, which you could do if that is what you have to work with. All right, so we are going to load this on a cutting mat, and we are going to mirror it because we are using iron-on for our sign today. Click Continue. It's going to connect to my maker. We are going to select Sports Flex. So that's the type of iron-on we are using, and I'm going to select more pressure. I find that always works the best with my machine. You can see that we need our fine point blade, and mirror is turned on, so we are good to go to load our mat into the machine. I can go ahead and pop over to my machine and show you how to prep the materials. All right, so we are good to go. We are using a Sports Flex for this project. We're using the rose gold piece right here. As you can see, I have already loaded onto our mat. We need at least 9 by 9 to cut our 8.5 wide piece. So this guy is good to go. He'll be a little wide, but we'll cut that off after he's cut. I always use my brayer to attach iron-on because it helps get out bubbles. And we can go ahead and load him. load the mat into the machine. Now, I don't know why my star wheels are in such a weird spot. It doesn't really matter for iron-on, but let's fix them anyways. It does help. Some of these pieces that don't want to stay down. There we go. Now we just hit go and I'll watch it work. All right, all finished. Dum, da, da, dum. You can see that it cut everything. It looks perfect. So now we're going to go ahead and take this guy off the cutting mat. Set our cutting mat aside for the next project. Slice this right side off. So we do not need it. We just want to make sure we don't slice off anything we do need. And then we will start weeding. So if this is your first project and you've never weeded before, we are essentially going to use a weeding tool to remove all of the negative pieces inside the design. So the insides of the O's, of the Q's, of the E's, anything that we don't need for our letters. Take them all out. This also constitutes the outside of the design. All of these pieces. And with this kind of design, it's very loopy. And there's lots of little flowers. See each of these, I'm not even sure if I'm on camera. Each loop in these petals will also need to be taken out. So that's gonna take a while, but it's not difficult. You can see they come right out, especially if you have a sharp weeding tool. And they pop right out. So essentially, we're going to be very careful not to rip anything. If you start weeding too quickly, you can accidentally rip your iron-on, and we are going to take out all those little pieces. It's going to take a minute, so. All right, it is all weeded, so you can see We took out every single little loop, every single little dot, all the excess pieces so that we just have our design. Now, one of the challenges with a design like this is that we have solid flowers and we have the loopy flowers. So you just need to make sure that you do not weed out these flowers or you won't have anything in those spaces. But now that we're weeded, we can go ahead and put our design on our blank. So I've got this sign blank. It's actually reversible, so we could put it on either side. But I think that this pink will show up really nicely on our white. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get it centered. And this is why I liked the round design. I thought it would look really pretty here. Set that down. And now when you're working with fabric, the carrier sheet will usually stick to the fabric, say if you're doing a t-shirt or a pillowcase. But with wood or leather or things that are harder to stick to, I just use a bit of heat-resistant washi tape to smooth out my design and then hold it in place. You don't want your design to shift around while you are heating it up. So this is the best way to just keep everything in place. Perfect. All right, everything's set. We have set our easy press to 300 degrees for 40 seconds, which is what our heat guide says we need for iron on wood. And we're going to make sure we are covering the entire design. And we're going to push down with even pressure for the entire 40 seconds. All right, lift it straight up, put it back on the base. And now we're going to go ahead and let this cool before we take the carrier sheet off. If we need to, we can always hit it with a little bit more heat, but it really typically works just fine with the first settings. It's still pretty hot to the touch, so be right back. Okay, so I started to peel back this corner. You can see that it's looking perfect. So we're going to just slowly peel this back, making sure that every piece is stuck down. Once it cooled down, I also like to go over everything with my scraper tool and just really bond everything. It seems to help, but just literally push the iron-on into the wood. So, oh, it's so pretty. Ooh, that part's not pretty. Okay. This is because it's painted wood. This one part wants to come up the paint. So that's why we go slow. It should be fine. This one part keeps wanting to come up on the S. So I do have my little mini easy press. And if there's something that's not quite bonded, we can add just that extra bit of heat to it. And sometimes that helps. we're gonna start at the top and come to this from the top down. You can see right here where obviously, however they painted this, is having a problem right there. I would guess that's the type of paint on this sign, not necessarily the iron-on. But I don't want a huge yucky spot in the middle of my sign, so let's see what we can do to fix it. And this is why I usually paint my own signs, so I know what kind of paint I've used. This little guy was $3 at the Target dollar spot. Just couldn't pass him up. He was too cute. I especially like to cut up my own signs from Cricut basswood and then paint them. Then you can do fun shapes. It's coming up from this side too. We may just have to touch that spot up with some touch-up paint, but we don't want to pull the iron-on off. So. Yeah, it's definitely the paint that's going to come off no matter what I do. It's just not bonded quite right. So let's just make sure that the iron-on stays down, and then I will add some touch-up paint to the spot. I think this one part of the S is just bonded to that paint a lot. Come on, buddy, let it go. This is not a stable relationship. You can't be with him. There we go. All right. See, that was just bonded to that carrier sheet. It's okay. All right, let me get a little bit of touch-up paint and we will fix him up. All right, got a little bit of white paint. We're gonna start down here and see how it matches. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay. Now we're just going to really dry brush this on so that it's not really that noticeable, hopefully. Blend it all around. I'm wondering if when they made this side, they got a bit of glue or something in this spot, because the iron-on probably wouldn't react super well to that, whereas it reacted just fine to the rest of the sign. I'm just dry brushing it on and kind of blending it out. And this part of the S obviously bonded to that bad paint, so I did add a bit of glue underneath and kind of bond that down. And now this has turned into how to fix it when somebody sells you a sign with the bad glue on it. There we go. I think that will work, y'all. Do just a little on this side, so again, hopefully it will all blend together. I think we need a little bit more built up. All right, how's that look to y'all? I think that looks pretty darn good. And that, my friends, is how you add iron-on to wood and fix a spot that's messed up. I actually really like this sign, and I'm going to add a lamb's ear wreath around the outside for my front door, I think. So I think that will be really pretty. All right, I will give y'all some close-up looks. Remember, this is part of our entire series where we are doing iron-on different materials. So if you want to check out the other parts in this series, I will leave the playlist right here. We do metal, leather, fabric, wood, all kinds of fun stuff. So if you're looking out for more iron-on projects, check it out. Bye, y'all.